With over 50 years experience in travel, tourism and hospitality, you could say, I'm hooked on the sector. I avidly rush towards new initiatives, such as you're going to see in this quartet of 4 videos with the 2 joint CEOs of Discover.Live. Welcome to this BVTV Network Quartet. I say that's 4 videos, unusual for us, isn't it? Coming to you from the UK Studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. To me, even after all those years, travel is an experience, and it certainly does broaden the mind. But to get the most from the experience, I reckon another exciting part is both the pre-planning and the living it afterwards. My guests across this BVTV Quartet have a refreshing take on that planning. From Discover.Live, we'll be meeting the 2 CEOs, each with 2 videos in this quartet. So let's start with saying hello to Tricia Norton. Hello, Tricia.
Hello, Malcolm. Thank you for having me.
I love your backdrop, by the way, of Venice. And I told you just before we got started, today, Venice has just been voted the most romantic place in the world, yeah, which is quite appropriate before Valentine's Day, isn't it?
I absolutely agree with that. Excuse me. It is a stunning place. You've been there. I've been there. There's no place like it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I like getting away as well around the back streets. You know, you find some great little trattorias and everything. Once you just get off that little tourist drag, you know, and stay away from St. Mark's Square.
Well, it's interesting. One of our tours is all about that. It's the off the beaten path Venice. And so it's all about the little back roads and alleyways and sidewalks and streets.
Yeah, fabulous.
Stunning.
So let's get down to it and tell us, what is Discover.Live, please?
Yes, Discover.Live is live virtual travel. So that's a mouthful, I know, but what we have been doing since 2018 is transporting people around the world through the virtual platform. We have tour guides located in every continent except Antarctica right now, and we're working on that. And we have tours in many beautiful places, and we take you there virtually.
Excellent. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I find that exciting because I live in the northeast of England, and at certain times of the year, it's not very comfortable to come here because of cold, but just a few matter of miles away is the magnificent World Heritage Hadrian's Wall, which is 1900 years old this year. It's slightly older than me, of course. But, you know, with what you're talking about, people can go and live that experience any time of the year, can't they?
Any time of the year, yes. 352 days of the year. It's very, very simple. Virtual travel it's a new thing, but people are really understanding the benefits of it. You can see places you never thought imaginable. And yes, you can do that at any time of the year, any time of the day. So
do you think Discover.Live has the value of looking at some place before you go, or does it have the greater value of planning and then reliving?
It's a little bit of both, honestly. We have people who are planning a big trip, and we know how costly and how meaningful these trips can be. And so people put a lot of time and energy into that. And there's a lot of question marks, and oftentimes there's a lot of controversy because one person wants to see one thing and another wants a different experience. And so we bring people for these pre-tours so that they can see the arrondissements of Paris, or understand the streets of Venice a little bit better and know what they're getting into, so to speak. So the pre-trip is very valuable. But I think what people walk away realizing is that even during these 1-hour tours, they make memories that actually last like a week-long vacation. Can have an impact. So it's really what you put into it is what you get from it.
Yeah. Yes. You see, one of the things I found is that having been in travel, I say, all my life, I could have gone to the same place many a time. I mean, we worked a lot in Israel at one time, and I was constantly into Bethlehem and Jerusalem and everything, but I didn't discover it all.
Right.
You know, there was so much you keep missing, isn't it?
Yes,
And
absolutely. And that's the other wonderful thing, is that you're with a certified tour guide. So you're with an expert in that area. I often use the analogy of going to a museum and paying for the headset or not. And if you
yeah,
go in and you walk around the museum without the headset, you take a little bit in. But then when you pay to have that headset and listen to the recording and the expertise of the guide, it opens your mind to so much more. And that's really what we do. So we pair you with these expert guides who will show you things you never saw before, even if you've been
yeah,
to that
yeah.
place 10 times previously.
Yeah, you could, for example, go to Crete, to Heracleum, and where Theseus slew the Minotaur, and you can look at it and say, "Well, that's a nice ruin," but you know, but if you don't have the story, or the Colosseum in Rome, which I know you've been to there, and you don't understand the magnificent events that they used to put on to keep the Roman people happy, you know, you'd just be looking at a ruined building, wouldn't you?
That's exactly right. So it's the expertise of our guides that really make it memorable. So yes, we hear stories all the time from our guests about how they took this 1 hour tour and they thought about it for days and weeks and months later because it left such an impression.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we've been experiencing not the right experience, but experiencing the pandemic over this last couple of years there, which has curtailed travel in a dramatic way there. Australia's just about to open up again, which is lovely to hear there. But it's been real heartbreaking. What's been the most popular of your tours during that lockdown period?
Oh, that's such an interesting question, Malcolm, because we can't pinpoint it. It's really interesting. If we look across all the tours that we have given, there are so many that rank high. So it's not like you would expect. It's not that bucket list of top European cities. We have just as many people going to Ljubljana, Slovenia, as we do Rome, Italy. So it really just depends. And it's interesting too, when we start to talk to people about all of our tours, and they hear about a place like Tunis, Tunisia, and never thought of it before. And then that's the tour they choose. So much of it is even us educating them about what's out there. So we try not to, we try to spread the love, put it that way. We try to really get people to experience all of the tours that we provide. And so that's a tough question. There's many favorites.
I do remember, just before we finished there, that I went to Tunisia in the early 70s, taking a party of travel agents, and this gentleman came up to me in the souk and said, how many camels you want for that lady? Thanks, Tricia. Now, let's give viewers and listeners details of your URL, your website to go to. And it's a dead simple one, really simple. Obviously, viewers, you can see it on the screen behind me. But for listeners, let me spell it out for you. It's all the W's, Discover.Live. Or is it .live? Because I think you can live the experience by going to .live.
You're the first person to say that. I love that.
Yeah, right. In episode 2, I want to chat with Tricia about what's the difference between a Discover Live and, say, a YouTube video or a tourist board or even a journalist's article. For now, Tricia, thanks for a great episode 1.
Thank you, Malcolm.